Fuutarou ends in the hospital because of the cold he got during the school camp. The doctor visiting him triggers some memories of the girl Fuutarou met during his school trip to Kyoto 6 years before. The quintuplets all pay him a visit, and Itsuki brings him a good luck charm identical to the one the girl from his memories had bought in Kyoto. After being released from the hospital, Fuutarou goes to the quintuplets' apartment, running into one of them fresh off the shower. Unable to recognize her, as well as the 0 points test she threw at him in the heat of the moment, Fuutarou challenges himself to recognize the 5 sisters with identical hairstyles, failing spectacularly. Itsuki wonders if Fuutarou is trying to find out the identity of the girl from his past, but he dismisses the idea of her being one of the quintuplets, as the girl wouldn't have grown into such a poor student after promising to study hard. With 1 week left before the final exams begin, Fuutarou stays up all night preparing practice tests for the quintuplets, manually handwriting study guides for each of them. The session goes downhill when Nino starts arguing with Miku and refuses to do the mock tests. Both Miku and Itsuki defend Fuutarou's hard work and plead Nino to be compliant. Nino disregards Fuutarou's work and smacks the papers to the ground. Enraged, Itsuki slaps her in retaliation. Even angrier, Nino slaps Itsuki back and pleads to leave the apartment, which both her and Itsuki do that same night. The next day, Fuutarou and Miku search for Itsuki and Nino by themselves. They find Nino staying at a luxury hotel and she refuses to leave. Fuutarou finds out that Itsuki came to his home to stay after her quarrel with Nino, becoming increasingly close to Reiha and his father. That night, Itsuki tells Fuutarou that the quintuplets used to live in poverty too, as their mother was single until she married their father, dying of an illness 6 years prior. The next day, Fuutarou discovers that Yotsuba is again helping the track club for an upcoming marathon, despite their final exams coming up. Fuutarou is left wondering if the quintuplets really need him in their lives, when the girl he met years ago in Kyoto appears. After his encounter with the girl from his past, Fuutarou falls into the lake and returns to Nino's hotel. The two talk and Nino asks what happened. A flashback shows Futarou's encounter with the girl from before, who calls herself Rina. Rina states that maybe she should disappear so Fuutarou won't be shackled by the past anymore. She takes the photo from his handbook with her before saying goodbye to him. Trying to catch her, Fuutarou loses his balance and falls into the water. Nino tries to cheer him up, saying there must be someone in the world that would fall for a guy like him. Fuutarou then notices that Nino actually saved the study guide he had made for her, and had been studying by herself since. Nino apologizes for her behavior, but she refuses to apologize to Itsuki. Fuutarou tells Nino that his encounter with Rina made him realize the need to leave the past behind. Nino admits that she could move forward after seeing Kintaro one last time to say goodbye. Fuutarou offers to help her meet him again, and though conflicted, he visits Nino disguised as Kintaro. As he arrives and poses as Kintaro, Nino constantly runs off and calls Fuutarou on his phone to ask him for advice on how to approach Kintaro. Feeling nervous about asking Kintaro out, Nino summons Fuutarou to the hotel's cafeteria. Nino thanks Fuutarou, giving him a glass of tea as a reward. However, similar to their first encounter, she has laced the tea with sleeping aids, revealing she knew of Futarou's deception from the beginning. The next day at school, Nino is still absent. Another issue arises when Yotsuba agrees to help the track team in their upcoming marathon. Finally, Nico visits Nino at the hotel. While Fuutarou, Ichika and Itsuki try to find a way to get Yotsuba out of the track club, Nino and Miku talk about Fuutarou. After Itsuki fails to trick the track club captain dressed as Yotsuba, Nino arrives to do it, revealing that she cut her hair. Yotsuba chooses to confront the track club herself, while Nino and Itsuki reconcile. With the sisters finally reunited, the study sessions resume. After unsuccessful results, Fuutarou offers to give them some cheating papers as a last resort. The day of the exams arrives. The next day, Ebita, the Nakano's personal driver, informs the girls that Fuutarou has quit his tutoring job and is banned from entering the building, so he will take over temporarily. The girls open up the cheating papers Fuutarou left for them to discover a farewell message. The sisters realize they don't want to lose Fuutarou and ask Ebita for help. The girls surprise Fuutarou at his job and reveal that they have moved to a modest residence so Fuutarou can tutor them until the end. After the sisters toss their apartment keycards over a bridge, Fuutarou jumps into the water trying to catch them. The sisters jump in to save him, though Nino has Fuutarou rescue her instead. Fuutarou finally decides to cut ties with his past and Rina, and agrees to continue tutoring the girls voluntarily. Marua recalls when Fuutarou called him out for being a neglectful father, the day he expressed his resignation. In the present, Fuutarou and Reiha meet with the Nakano sisters for New Year. While discussing on how they'll eventually pay him, the sisters surprise Fuutarou by having finished their winter homework without being asked. Nino reveals that Ichika has been working in multiple acting roles in order to keep a steady income, and discuss the possibility that they should all be getting part-time jobs themselves. However, Fuutarou suggests they should focus on studying for the time being. While searching for a job, Itsuki gets a phone call from her father. Fuutarou later accompanies Yotsuba and Nino to buy groceries. Nino is conflicted about her feelings for Fuutarou. On the way back, they overhear their father and Itsuki talking in a nearby cafe. Maruo wants them to go back to their apartment, but Itsuki refuses. Yotsuba intervenes, and they make a deal. If the girls pass all their final exams, Fuutarou will be allowed back in the apartment and rehired as their tutor. But if they fail, they will transfer schools again. Fuutarou is determined that all of the quintuplets will pass their final exams. The day finally arrives, and the sisters recall everything they went through over the course of 2 months to get to that day. Miku has been practicing chocolate making for Valentine's Day to give chocolate to Fuutarou, and Ichika convinces Nino to help her with it. While visiting her mother's grave, Itsuki meets with Shimoda, a former student of Rina Nakano who decided to follow her footsteps. Shimoda explains that despite Rina's relentless scolding in school, everyone, including herself, greatly admired her. Shimoda offers to support Itsuki should she decide to pursue a career in teaching like her mother did. Later, Ichika tricks Fuutarou into going to the library to keep him away while Miku and Nino make chocolates. Fuutarou decides they should take a day off for a trip to an amusement park. Yotsuba separates herself from the group and Fuutarou finds her trying to study inside a cabin in the Ferris wheel. Yotsuba reveals to Fuutarou that they all used to attend a prestigious school, but they were warned of the consequences when they began to fail. All sisters then took remedial exams, but only Yotsuba failed them. In solidarity, all the sisters declined re-entry into the school to stay behind with her. Fuutarou realizes that the quintuplets can help each other with their individual areas of academic expertise, and creates a new study plan. Before the exams, Miku reveals to Ichika that she intends to reveal her feelings to Fuutarou if she gets the highest scores. All of the quintuplets pass their final exams, and reunite in the bakery to reveal their results. Miku is stunned to learn that it was Ichika who got the highest score, 2 points ahead of her. Fuutarou decides to search for Nino, who is left, so they all can celebrate together. Nino has gone to talk to Maruo, who acknowledges their accomplishment and accepts Futarou's success as a tutor, but also pleads for the quintuplets to return to the apartment, which Nino refuses to do. Fuutarou arrives on his boss's motorbike to pick her up. On the ride to the restaurant, Nino gathers her courage and softly tells Fuutarou that she loves him. After the celebration, Nino speaks to Fuutarou about their encounter. When she realizes that he didn't hear her confession, Nino, unaffected, reiterates to Fuutarou her affection, shocking him. Ichika accidentally overhears, and realizes Nino is getting ahead in the race for Futarou's love. Fuutarou wins a trip to Taraiwa Hot Springs, bringing along his father and Reiha. He quickly runs into the Nakano quintuplets, who've come with their father for a family vacation. Fuutarou starts seeing Itsuki everywhere, though in reality all of the sisters are dressed as Itsuki, unbeknownst to him. Fuutarou finds a note telling him to meet in the garden at midnight, which he assumes is from Itsuki. Later, one of the sisters tells Fuutarou they should end their relationship. Fuutarou learns that the innkeeper is the girl's grandfather. The next morning, Itsuki calls Fuutarou to ask why he never showed up. They agree to meet at the mixed baths to talk. Their chat is interrupted by Nino, who wants to join Fuutarou in the bath but leaves upset when he doesn't recognize her. Fuutarou speaks about how they've all changed since they met him. Itsuki tells him that he's no longer just their tutor, but a friend. Fuutarou attempts to guess the identity of the fake Itsuki from the first night. However, he's unable to tell the sisters apart, so he talks privately with each, until Yotsuba gives herself away. She explains the shock she caused their grandfather when she was the first to begin dressing differently, so the girls assume Itsuki's appearance whenever they visit him, as he preferred when they all looked the same. In the hot springs, Nino tells Ichika that she plans to do her best to win Futarou's love, even if it means trampling others in the process. Ichika, similarly infatuated with Fuutarou, attempts to stop her, but is helpless against her confidence. Fuutarou asks the innkeeper how to tell the girls apart. He tells him that there's no trick, just love. Their grandfather simply pays attention to the voices and mannerisms of the girls. Nino plans to meet alone with Fuutarou, and she asks Ichika for help distracting her father. Yotsuba finds Ichika crying in the rooftop. Yotsuba advises her to do what she wants to, and have no regrets. Ichika fails to distract their father, who discovers Nino in her and Futarou's meeting spot. The following morning, Fuutarou meets with Miku, disguised as Itsuki. He first identifies her as Ichika, deeply upsetting her, causing her to turn to leave. However, Fuutarou then correctly identifies her as Miku, after noticing her clenching of fists. Delighted, Miku runs and embraces Fuutarou. As the vacation ends, the innkeeper asks Fuutarou to tell his granddaughters to be true to themselves. Fuutarou goes to check on the Bell of Vows, which, similar to the campfire, has a legend stating that couples that ring the bell will be together forever. Suddenly, an unseen girl running towards him tackles him to the ground, causing the bell to ring. But the quintuplets look for jobs to help support Ichika for the rent. Miku and Nino compete for an opening at the bakery where Fuutarou works. They decide via a cook-off, which Nino easily wins. Miku applies to work at the neighboring bakery as she simply likes likes to bake. At the start of their third year, the quintuplets are placed in the same class as Fuutarou, where they're questioned by their curious classmates. Yotsuba volunteers herself and Fuutarou to be class reps if Fuutarou inadvertently teaches the other classmates how to tell the siblings apart by explaining their defining accessories. Miku hopes to find Fuutarou the perfect birthday gift. At the bakery, Nino tries to adjust to the hectic workload. While dealing with her relationship with Fuutarou, who's been keeping his distance despite her newfound friendliness, Fuutarou admits that his nervousness is because he's never had someone confess to him before. Nino tells that she will do anything in her power to prove her love, calling him Fukuin, a nickname Miku had previously invented. A jealous Ichika tries to spend more time alone with Fuutarou. After school, Ichika wears Miku's signature headphones, and Fuutarou mistakes her for Miku. Ichika uses this opportunity to tell Fuutarou as Miku that Ichika likes him, and that they would be a good couple, much to his surprise. Fuutarou is approached by fellow classmate Takeda Yusuke, who reveals that Futarou's class ranking slipped during the finals from Fuutarou tutoring the quintuplets. Takeda suggests that Fuutarou quit tutoring, but Fuutarou defends his choice, declaring that he'll make sure the sisters pass and that he'll make it into the top 10 of the upcoming national mock exams. Ichika reveals her feelings for Fuutarou to Nino, and they resolve to compete for his love. The sisters decide to postpone Futarou's birthday gift-giving until exams are over, as to not to distract him. On Futarou's birthday, Itsuki tells him she's begun interning at a cram school. After the exam, Fuutarou surpasses Takeda, placing third nationally, earning his admiration. The girls present their gifts to Fuutarou. Miku tells Yotsuba that she wants to prepare a lunch for Fuutarou on their upcoming school trip. Yotsuba tries to help set them up together, but Ichika interferes. Reiha tells Fuutarou to get Yotsuba a thank you gift for her help during the school camp. After looking at things her sisters like at the mall, Fuutarou asks Yotsuba what she wants. They go to a park that Yotsuba frequents and have fun talking on the swings. While cleaning at home, Ichika discovers the picture of Fuutarou and Rina, finally realizing that Rina indeed is one of the sisters. Yotsuba, despite not physically receiving anything from Fuutarou, explains to him that she already got what she wanted, which was to spend time with him and see him smile. Reiha takes Fuutarou out shopping and invites Itsuki and Yotsuba to join them. Reiha mentions Rina, calling her Futarou's first love. On the bus heading towards Fushimi Inaritasha during a school trip to Kyoto, Yotsuba learns that Miku made lunch for Fuutarou. The girls decide to play a card game with the losers having to obey the winner. Once they arrive at the shrine, the sisters follow behind Fuutarou and his friends up the mountain shrine, and when the path splits, Yotsuba, having won the card game, orders Itsuki, Ichika, and Nino to go up one path while she and Miku go up the other. Ichika, determined to win Futarou's love at any cost, sneaks away to make it to the top first, while in her Miku disguise to fool Fuutarou. However, both Yotsuba and Miku arrive shortly after, and discover what she was trying to do. Yotsuba chastises Ichika for getting in the way of Miku's confession. Fuutarou overhears this and Miku sprints down the mountain, crying. Nino tears into Ichika for betraying Miku's trust, but she defends herself by stating she doesn't want to hear that from Nino, reminding her that she'd said before she wouldn't let anybody get in her way, even asking her how they are any different. Nino replies that she values their bond as sisters just as much, if not more so than she does, and adds that she would have been happy for her if Fuutarou had chosen her. Later, Fuutarou admits to Yotsuba that he was already aware of Miku's feelings. The following day, Itsuki tries to get closer to Fuutarou. Nino confronts Miku, who has been depressed in her room by herself. Nino tells Miku that she will use this opportunity to make Fuutarou hers if Miku gives up, but encourages her not to do so if she truly loves him. Itsuki tells Yotsuba to tell Fuutarou the truth, that Yotsuba is Rina, the girl from Futarou's picture. Miku admits to Nino that she's scared she's not good enough for Fuutarou, but says that she has not given up yet. Ichika, disguised as Miku, asks Fuutarou about meeting Rina 6 years ago. She invites him for a walk down the same pathway him and Rina took all those years ago, but it begins to rain. After reminiscing, Fuutarou stops her, explaining that he knows that she is Ichika, and that she was the Miku from before too and he's done playing her games. She tells him she's actually Rina, but Fuutarou doesn't believe her, calls out her lies and storms off angry, leaving Ichika devastated by herself. The next day, all students will be divided into 5 activities, and the girls agree to go on different activities, leaving to luck who will go to the same as Fuutarou. Knowing which course Fuutarou is taking, Ichika, wanting to redeem herself for what she did, gets Miku to take it. However, as they arrive, they all realize they took the same activity as Fuutarou in order to help Miku. Nino apologizes to Ichika, stating she would have done the same thing she did, and the two reconcile. Fuutarou and Miku both sit by themselves on a bench, as the sisters hide behind a wall behind them, overhearing what they say. Miku begins pointing at different historical structures around them, exclaiming that she loves them, before presumably pointing at Fuutarou and saying I love you. Ichika, Nino, Itsuki and Yotsuba all embrace while crying, happy to see Miku finally succeed. However, Miku reveals that she wasn't actually pointing at Fuutarou but rather at her sisters behind, knowing they were there the whole time. Massively confused, Fuutarou walks away, wondering what to believe. Miku thanks the girls and they reconnect, while Ichika tearfully apologizes to Miku for what she did. Later, when Ichika also apologizes to Fuutarou, she kisses him on the cheek and says everything was a lie. 5 years later, as the sisters look through a photo album, Fuutarou and the bride are about to seal their vows with a kiss. One of the sisters reveals that the couple had their first kiss while staying at their grandfather's inn. Privately, Fuutarou reminisces about that same day when she became special to him, revealing the moment when one of the quints, dressed as Itsuki, had tackled and kissed him under the bell of vows, causing it to ring. The overarching moral revolves around the significance of understanding and empathy in relationships. It highlights the importance of communication and genuine effort in comprehending the feelings and perspectives of others. The season teaches that forming strong connections isn't just about surface-level understanding, it requires delving deeper to truly appreciate and support one another, ultimately fostering stronger bonds based on trust, empathy, and mutual respect. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel because it is very important for the development of the channel.